My fellow citizens, here we are on the cusp of another 16 Days of Activism Campaign and on the eve of the International Day to eliminate all forms of violence against women and girls, also known as Orange Day. This year, we celebrate under the theme, No Excuse, Changing the Narrative About Gender-Based Violence. The theme challenges us to examine our ideas about gender and violence and take inspired action to eliminate practices that encourage violence. How do we change the narrative around gender-based violence in Antigua and Barbuda? Cultural ideas about men and women's role in society are perpetuated through our media and entertainment, our schools, communities of faith, and our homes. Phrases like boys don't cry and women shouldn't be so aggressive seem harmless, but these messages covertly normalize violence towards women and girls. We must become more mindful of the intention and the impact of our words. Changing the narrative means breaking the silence. In 2022, the Antigua and Barbuda Support and Referral Center processed 170 cases of gender-based violence. 154 of these cases involve women, and of those, 46 cases involve girls under the age of 18. If this is to change, we must speak out against gender-based violence whenever and wherever it happens. Continuous advocacy sends a strong message to would-be perpetrators that their behavior will no longer be explained away. We must also invest in researching the socio and economic impacts of gender-based violence. Global numbers provide a useful starting point for gender-based violence interventions. However, improving our local data will better inform local policy making, thereby maximizing its effectiveness. The Directorate of Gender Affairs is currently working with the National Statistics Office and the Caribbean Development Bank to improve gender-responsive data collection and create a national gender policy. This policy will outline the government's strategy for mainstreaming gender across the public and private sectors and plans to improve the national gender-based violence prevention and response mechanism. Another key element of reducing gender-based violence locally is recognizing men and boys as critical allies. Men are overwhelmingly the majority perpetrators of gender-based violence. At the same time, men who experience violence are less likely to report it or access care. Gender stereotypes that reinforce men's dominance and invulnerability incentivize acts of violence against women, while simultaneously shaming men into silence about the violence that they experience. Men have a dual responsibility to abstain from violence and to stand in solidarity with women against patriarchy and abuse. Over the past year, the Directorate of Gender Affairs has collaborated with a local NGO, Together We Must, on their Emerge program. Emerge is Together We Must, homegrown therapeutic intervention for male perpetrators of domestic violence. Emerge provides the skills that build self-awareness, self-management, and an empathetic approach to relationship building founded on mutual respect. Emerge's programming is built on cognitive behavioral theory and grounded in feminist theories that advance gender equality. So far, the program has seen a 91% reduction in incidents of domestic violence during program participation and a 100% reduction in the violation of protection orders. The preliminary results are inspiring, and we hope to continue this fruitful partnership that supports an end to violence against women and children. Conversations about gender-based violence are often limited to forms of intimate partner violence. However, marginalized populations, to include our youth, those with disabilities, the elderly, and the LGBTQ community experience violence in unique ways. These populations also have limited access to care and support services. Efforts must be made to improve access to services and create targeted prevention programs to suit the needs of every Antiguan and Barbudan. Changing the narrative will challenge us to embrace a perspective where we embrace all human beings as worthy of care and protection. The journey ahead forces us to consider what a violence-free society would look like. Let us be brave enough to take intentional action towards a peaceful, equitable Antigua and Barbuda. Happy Orange Day to all, and I wish you a safe and enjoyable 16 days of activism campaign.